What's going on, y'all? It is officially time to finish my 2026 NFL draft rankings. And last but certainly not least, well, maybe it is least, we got the safeties today. And the overall safety class isn't great. I'm going to talk about the top 10 for me personally. Spoiler, I'll talk about number 11 as well. But overall, not a great class. I only have 11 guys in my top 150, which isn't bad, but I believe only seven of them crack my top 100. And overall, there's obviously the three first round prospects with Dallin, McNeil, Warren, and Thieneman. But then, like AJ Halsey, I like a lot. We'll talk about him once we get there. But overall, to me, not a great class. But like I said, top 10. But really, we're going to go over 11 because I really do like Jalen Husky from Maryland that much. 6'1", 199 pounds. His arm length is less desirable than what you would, I guess, hope for. But overall, just a really good player for the Terrapins this past year. 61% completion rate, 81 yards allowed. He got you, what, only one touchdown allowed, one pass breakup, four interceptions, and 20 stops across the line in terms of defending the run. That's really good in my opinion, man. I mean, 10% missed tackle rate's not the best thing in the world, obviously, but overall, 20 stops and four picks. The dude knows how to make plays when he is called upon. He doesn't really have a penalty problem. He barely allowed any yards. I'm a big fan of Jalen Husky. I just wonder if the overall athleticism will be a problem for him in the NFL level. But cracking my top 10, we are going to talk about Cole Wisniewski out of Texas Tech, who really looked good at the Senior Bowl, 6'3", 214 pounds. His older prospect, 24 years old. Another guy we didn't get to see at the combine because he wasn't invited somehow. I don't know how that happens. Easy top 150 player for me. And overall was really good this year for Texas Tech, especially in terms of overall making plays around the line and being a great tackler. I mean, 9.5% missed tackle rate, that is really good. 27 stops, really good. Really, I mean, that's an awesome number, honestly, if you really think about it for a safety. And overall, he didn't allow a touchdown. Granted, he didn't get an interception, and he actually dropped a couple interceptions at the Senior Bowl. So I might worry about the overall just ball production ever being a concern and just catching playmaking ability. Like he really struggles to catch the ball. So that could be an issue. But in terms of just a good old fashioned strong safety that can hit hard, can move well, and is a great tackler, Cole Wisniewski is your guy. But let's go ahead and go to number 9 for me, which is going to be VJ Payne out of Kansas State. And the athleticism questions about the last two are put to rest with Payne. Payne tested out as one of the best safeties at the combine. 4.4 speed, 1.52, 10 yards, awesome. 127-inch broads, awesome. 35-inch vertical, solid, and very, very lengthy for a safety and good size overall at 6'3", 210 pounds. Then you dip into the numbers. The dude is pretty good in pass coverage, and like I said, the overall athleticism, he has very good range, just getting east and west and really north and south when need be. I mean, he's just overall a great athlete that's big, strong, physical. He can make tackles. 16 stops isn't horrible. 10.7%. It's not an elite number, but it's certainly not bad. And overall, he got one interception, only two penalties, one touchdown allowed. Like, these are really solid numbers. Then you consider the fact he's 6'3", 210 pounds, and arguably the best athlete in the class at safety, potentially. Like, there's a lot to work with here for VJ Payne. So it's definitely someone I start to consider in the late third round, but preferably would like him in the fourth round of the draft. And he's only 22 years old, which I think is very underrated considering how developed he is as a player in pass coverage. But I think there is a jump in a lot of people's mind going from 9 to 8. Me personally, there's not because I'm not a big fan of number 8. And that is going to be Kamari Ramsey out of USC. Kamari Ramsey is a weird one because he looked really good in 2024 when he played really full-time safety. USC asked him to move down to the nickel. This year wasn't nearly as good. I don't know whether to blame that in the fact he might have been playing out of position or what. Overall, he is a very solid athlete. Not the biggest guy in the world, 6 foot, 200 pounds. Not the lengthiest guy in the world either. But overall, just a very, very smart player when he is at safety. I don't think he can really hang in the nickel full time. I would not draft him as a nickel. I would be moving him back to safety where he looks so good At overall, I mean, he only made 5 stops with 3% missed tackle rate's an awesome number. Only one penalty on the year, 160 yards, 2 interceptions. Three pass breakups, 0 picks. Kamari Ramsey's a tough one for me because, like, the more I think about it, like, same age, VJ Payne's bigger. He's overall weighs more, overall taller, better athlete, similar type of player in coverage. I'm gonna leave Ramsey at 8. Dude, I kind of want to put Payne ahead of him. And I hate that I keep doing this to y'all in the videos and it gets to be a debate when people, this should be in order and pre-recorded. I don't do that. I just hop on here and tell you what I really think. And I think when you analyze the two players very closely, I think the overall athleticism and upside, I'd rather roll with VJ Payne, honestly. So I will make a small change here. And the main reason I like to do this is because I think VJ Payne and Genesis Smith are very similar in a lot of ways. So I like the fact they end up next to each other. Smith is a inch shorter, 8 pounds lighter, 1 year younger. Overall, probably a better wingspan. It's probably close, but the arm length VJ actually hasn't beat at. But yeah, Genesis Smith is another awesome athlete at safety, over a 42.5-inch vertical, 128-inch broad jump. I mean, overall, he's a really good player in coverage. I know that 69.9% looks a little high, but like overall, the dude is really good. He's probably arguably the best single high coverage safety in the draft. The problem with Genesis Smith, and even if he made 25 stops, which is kind of hard to believe for me looking at that number, one of the worst tacklers in the class, and it's a effort thing more than anything. This dude is way too big and athletic to not make more of an effort to be a better tackler. It really does bother me. It really has dropped him over like 40 spots on my big board. Granted, he still cracks the top 100, but it is a big turnoff for me for him as a prospect that he doesn't want to tackle. He's out there openly looking to avoid contact, and when you're playing safety at the NFL level, you're going to have to tackle. Even if you are always a deep safety, you're going to have to tackle at big parts of the game. I can't say with 100% confidence Genesis Smith will. Now, granted, maybe I don't feel like that's something that can be coached into a player, but he's such a great coverage player and overall just such an awesome athlete. If he does make the effort to become a better tackler, he could end up easily being a top 4 safety in the class, but I just don't see a very high motor out of Genesis Smith, and that is a big issue for me. So that's why he comes in at number 7 instead of number 4, just because the overall effort level to me is not really there. Number 6 for me is going to be Zaki Wheatley out of Penn State. I think Zaki Wheatley is extremely underrated. I mean, I get he's 24 years old. He's not the best athlete in the world. But like, if we look at this deeper, he's 6'3", nearly 205 pounds, probably plays around 210 typically. He has a good nose for the ball, and not the sense that he causes turnovers, but if the ball hits the ground, he somehow always has ended up on it in the past 2 seasons. So that's funny. Like I said, not the most explosive athlete in the world. He's not going to wow you with his athleticism, but just a really smart, instinctive player. I mean, this dude only allowed 36 receiving yards this past year, only one touchdown allowed, one pass break, one INT, 0 penalties on the year is awesome. 11% missed tackle rates, not too bad, like I said. And 23 stops is a great number as well. So Zaki Wheatley, I do think, is being overlooked by a lot of people. I'm not saying he is a second round pick by any stretch of the imagination. But in terms of talking about people like Genesis Smith and Kamari Ramsey, I certainly would rather take Zaki Wheatley, even if he is 3 years older than Smith and 2 years older than Ramsey. I think overall he is just a much more developed and overall just a better football player than the other two. Regardless, like I don't care. He's a little bit older. I really don't. He's been good for Penn State the past couple of years. All right, number 5, into the top 5. We are going to start off with a nickel cornerback in Jalen Kilgore out of South Carolina. Kilgore came in 6'1", 211 pounds, only 21 years old, one of the younger players in the draft. Really long arms, 33 and 1/4, ran a 4.4 at the combine, 130 broad jump, 37 vertical. He really, all his testing numbers look pretty damn good in my opinion. And overall, like I said, his stats are going to be blown out of proportion because he did play in the nickel pretty much full time. but man, it still wasn't terrible. I mean, 52% completion rate's a great number. 390 yards and two touchdowns, a little more than you'd hope, but not terrible. Nine pass breakups, awesome number. Two interceptions, solid. Three penalties, not the worst in the case for a guy playing full time at corner, which you can see he played nearly 500 snaps in the slot opposed to 157 in the box. So, yeah, I mean, I think Jalen Kilgore is a really interesting prospect, in my opinion. He is a pretty solid tackler, pretty good in coverage, in my opinion, great athlete, and he's so young, and he already has the wingspan, the length, and overall good size at 6'1", 210 that I am pretty intrigued by him. I think a team could still draft Kilgore and play him in the nickel. I think that's fine. I just think based on watching his tape, I think the dude could be spectacular at safety. So even though it hasn't been a big sample size of him at safety, I would draft this dude and move him to the back end of my defense and just let him roam around the field since he already is so good in coverage. All right, let's talk about the top four. And the top four is definitely a tier jump up because they're all top 50 players. Three of them first round grades. Number four is in the 30s, or maybe literally number 40 for me. But number four is going to be AJ Halsey out of LSU. I really can never understand how people take like some mocks. I'll see Genesis Smith go before him. I'll see Kamari Ramsey, even Zaki Wheatley, who I love. AJ Halsey is a stud, man. Is he the biggest guy in the world? No. He's 6 foot, 215 pounds. Is he the longest guy in the world? No. The arms are under what you'd probably hope they'd be at. Is he the most athletic? No, not really. Okay, so why do you like him if physically he is so limited and athletically he isn't the greatest in the world? He's a baller. He knows how to play the sport of football. The past 2 seasons, the dude has racked up 8 interceptions, and he's one of the hardest hitting safeties in the draft. And he's so instinctive that overall, being a great athlete typically doesn't affect him because he's already in the right place at the right time before the quarterback even lets go of the ball. This past year, 60% completion rate, 265 yards, only one touchdown allowed, four pass breakups, three interceptions. Like I said, no penalties. He's never really going to let you down. And like I said, the missed tackle rate might be a little high at 15.8%, but this dude can knock you out of your cleats if he really tattoos you good. So, I mean, AJ Halsey is just such a good football player. In a sense, like the ball production and ball hawking ability reminds me of Xavier Watts, who thrived for the Falcons last year, who everyone and their mother felt like knew he should have went top 50. He goes like 95, 96, and the dude's one of the best rookies in the NFL. Like, I mean, when players are good football players, don't overthink it. Like, he is clearly just a good player. Just take him, get a good player on your team. Don't worry about the athleticism and all that dumb shit that really doesn't mean a lot when you watch him play. It doesn't affect him. Take a good player, take AJ Halsey. Number three for me is going to be Emmanuel McNeil Warren out of Toledo. McNeil Warren came in 6'3", 201 pounds, 22 years old. Pretty good overall length and wingspan. Pretty good athlete as well for being 6'3". Testing number is kind of similar to Halsey in a sense. 10-yard was a little bit better, and I think Halsey probably wouldn't have jumped a higher or further vertical or broad jump, excuse me. And overall, I mean, Emmanuel McNeil Warren was just probably the best overall player on Toledo all year. I mean, only a 37.5% completion rate is just nutty. 116 yards allowed, one touchdown, five pass breakups, two picks, one penalty. Also, a guy that probably needs to just clean up his overall tackling at 16.5%. Miss rate in 18 stops is not a bad number at all. So, Emmanuel McNeil Warren can be someone that can come down, play in the box at a very high level, can play deep for you. He is just a true chess piece on your defense. The athleticism solid enough, and I think with the caliber of player he is shown to be, especially at the Senior Bowl, he looked very good as well. That I think you just add this dude to your defense, and I don't know if he'll go in the first round. Honestly, if he didn't, it wouldn't be a big shocker to me. Like the fact Nicky Memori went in the second round last year as a top 15 player, like I can't lose sleep if in a worse draft class, my number like 22, 23 player falls out of the first round. I think he is a first round talent, borderline first round talent, at least to where he is capable of going. But yeah, I think the top two definitely have a high lead over him in a sense that they are locks of top 15 players, in my opinion. So let's talk about number two, and that's going to be Dylan Thieneman out of Oregon. Everywhere Dylan Thieneman has played at, he's succeeded, whether it was this past year at Oregon, he looked really good. Um, last year at Purdue, he looked phenomenal when they let him play deeper more often. So I think that's something the NFL team should consider. But overall, not the biggest guy in the world, 6 foot, 200 pounds. But overall, length checks out. The athleticism is awesome. 4.35 at the combine, way faster than what anyone thought. 1.52, 41-inch vertical, 125-inch broad jump. Very, very good numbers for Thieneman testing out wise. And overall, like I said, even though this could damn near be considered a down year, consider what we saw from 2024, the dude still, I mean, 3 touchdowns is a little much, but 4 pass breakups, 2 interceptions, only 1 penalty, 30 stops, and a 8% missed tackle rate. And honestly, I think 30 stops. Okay, yeah. I mean, Caleb Downs being the dog he is actually did exceed that number. Caleb Downs is Caleb Downs at the end of the day. But like I said, Thieneman is someone I feel comfortable taking in the top 15. I believe he's like my number overall 12 or 13 player off the top of my head. Dolphins, I wouldn't hate it as a Dolphin fan. The Cowboys, if they're at 12, yes. Um, where else could the window open for Thieneman? The Jets at 16, I don't hate it. The Vikings are obviously a popular team. The Panthers, the Cowboys again. This dude, I mean, is definitely deserving of going in the top 20. Would it? I would not take him in the top 10. Caleb Dillon's the only safety I would take in the top 10. But yeah, just overall, awesome athlete. Really good ball production as well. Like I said, past Purdue, he had more interceptions than what he had this past season. So yeah, just looking for an overall good football player added to your defense, regardless of position. Dylan Thieneman's your guy. But number one, and my number one overall player in the entire draft class is Caleb Downs out of Ohio State. 1000% to me, a generational prospect. He's not the biggest dude in the world, 5'11, 206. He's not the lengthiest dude. Actually, his length is pretty bad. He's not the best athlete. His athleticism testing numbers would have been in the middle of the pack. Overall, it doesn't matter. The dude is one of the best safety prospects I've ever seen with my 2 eyes in the 4 years I've done this. Um, and like I said, Kyle Hamilton's really the only player I could compare on this type of level. And I would say Caleb Downs probably a better prospect than Kyle Hamilton, in my opinion. So just overall, I think if you draft Caleb Downs, you get the best player in the draft. Really no flaws to his game at all. He is a hard hitter. He's a great tackler, 35 stops this past season. Not really a liability in coverage. If anything, he's good in coverage as well. So it's like just overall a dude that can affect the game in the slot. He can play in the box. He can play deep. Like he had 140 plus snaps in all three of those. And hell, he even gave you some special teams production this past year at Ohio State. So for the fact that this is arguably not even his best season in college football, and you could say 2024 was even better, and he was still probably the best safety in the nation, like come on, man. Like, this guy should be a top 10 pick. If the Giants take him 5, I'm not mad. Commanders at 7, I'm not mad. The Bengals should probably be his absolute floor. But as a Dolphin fan, I'd like to see him there at number 11. But yeah, guys, that is going to be my official NFL draft positional rankings for the 2026 draft. Let me know where you agree and disagree. And hey, man, tune in to my live stream. I'm going to be streaming all 3 days of the draft next week. So I hope to see y'all there and peace out, boys.